These are my latest long-form videos. This one right here at 895 views, that's the big one. That's the one that took off so far. And these two over here, both at 35 views, what a coincidence. And the Tebo and Claude pilot episode here at 63 views, I loved that one. And my latest one sitting at 260 views. I made every one of these videos with the mindset that thousands of people would be watching. Full production, storyline, week-long editing cycles, multiple shot locations, the same care that I would give if the views were in the tens or hundreds of thousands. Because if I make content that matches the size of the actual audience instead of the size of the idea, then this whole thing just dies. So what if this never works? What if the numbers never grow? What then? Every morning I get up at the crack of dawn, massive pot of coffee, edit short form content for the day across all the platforms, check the analytics and respond to any comments, and then work on the next long form video. When long form content finally does go out, the analytics do what analytics do, which at this scale is basically a flat line with the occasional blip, which means that one of my musician friends accidentally hit like or clicked on the wrong thumbnail. And I do it all again the next day and the next one and the one after that. There's this thing that happens when you're building something with no real feedback. Your brain starts inventing its own feedback. You start reading into the smallest signals. Ooh, 2 comments today instead of 1. Something's happening. You start treating random noise like data because the alternative is admitting that there is no data. You're performing at full intensity into a room that isn't even telling you anything in response. And after doing that for a while, it doesn't even hurt to witness that silence. There's something else that happens. Something that changes the nature of the creative work. There's a moment where we know that what we're making is pretty good. We've made all the mistakes, found a voice, a point of view, even a pretty decent level of quality, a kind of reason for being in the content creation game, and a sense that our audience is out there, but we just haven't reached them yet. And so in the meantime, when hardly anyone is watching yet, every creative decision that you make is still exclusively yours. There is no perceivable audience to perform for, no algorithmic data to optimize your content design with, and despite genuinely hoping for feedback from a growing host of fans, there is no comment section to even react to. It's just you and the work. It's a false sense of freedom. It allows you to do whatever, with that silence somehow protecting your creative integrity. Or is it actually just hiding the fact that you have no idea what you're doing? So of course the hope is that the lack of actionable information is just a segue, the long and quiet introduction to a time when there will be some actual analytical data available. But here's where things get particularly dangerous, because the absence of data is a harsh reminder that you're not even allowed to have the information yet. And that's not even the hardest part. The big challenge is when the data finally does show up, but it's lying to you. A couple of years ago, 2 of my short-form videos went kind of viral, hundreds of thousands of views with tons of viewer comments and feedback. The kind of numbers that make you think, okay, here we go. This is the big moment. It's finally happening. And I watched those numbers climb and I felt, like anyone else who's been in the same situation, I felt immediately compelled to make more content just like those. The algorithm approved, my dopamine was rising, let's feed the fire. So I tore those videos apart. That's what the platform likes? Fine. What are these videos actually about? What made them work? And what is the new definition of my entire existence online about to become? The videos, honestly, were really nothing. They were almost like afterthoughts. Probably some of the lowest effort content that I'd ever made. Certainly nothing like what I would insist on making today. Nothing that represents what I'm actually trying to say with any of this. Man, I coddled those 2 videos like an unfaithful lover who's already moved on. Like a hypocrite, like an imposter, like I was holding up a trophy from high school at the Olympics. It took me a few months to finally admit that those 2 videos were actually garbage. The platforms were celebrating my garbage. So I eventually deleted them from YouTube. I deleted a lot of stuff from YouTube. These 2 shorts and a handful of other low-effort pieces are actually still racking up views on other platforms. That's just the way it goes. But I had to amputate them from the one place that I'm actually trying to build something foundational. YouTube is my virtual home. It's the place where I need the truth to be available and obvious for anyone who cares to see, rather than let a couple of clips with high numbers keep sending a signal that points in a direction that I'm not even heading towards. I've watched so many creators make the opposite choice. They lean into that one shtick that the algorithm is rewarding them for, and then they get a following that wants one specific thing from them all the time. And the creative work that they actually care about is buried under the expectations of an audience that they built accidentally while chasing numbers. A few months ago, I was at a gig talking to a friend, a fellow musician who I hadn't seen in a long time. We were on a break after the first set, just making small talk, and he says, "Oh yeah, Tebo, I saw that thing that you posted. That was really cool, man." And the video that he was talking about was one that I actually cared about, one that was meaningful to me. He saw the content and clearly watched it right to the end because he referenced something that only happened later on in the video, and he thought about it enough to remember it and bring it up in person weeks later. And his view counted. It's there in the analytics. It's one of these 260, oh, look at that now, 263 views right here. But it's indistinguishable from some other viewer who clicked by accident or watched for 6 seconds and moved on. But knowing that my friend watched all the way to the end, it also gave me some very important information. It means that he never hit like, never shared the video, never commented, zero trace of anything that I or the algorithm could see in a measurable or tangible way. So you've got this bizarre situation where your real audience are fundamentally unmeasurable for a very long time. Most people consume content without interacting. I do it all the time. And the ones that do interact, almost religiously, they sadly become that unrepresentative fraction of viewers that give you a painfully less desirable impression of who is actually watching your stuff. The infamous subscriber count, or the total number of followers. For years, that was the one metric that felt like it was actually genuinely yours. A subscriber was a person who said, "I want more of this content. I want to watch more of this creator's stuff." A genuinely valuable metric that gave a pretty decent indication of our viewership in a way that actually meant something. But then a few years ago, the platforms made it really just a decorative thing. They didn't announce it outright, but instead they shifted to the interest-based algorithm. Subscribers don't see our content anymore, not unless the algorithm independently decides that it's relevant to them in that moment. That's the business that they're in. And the interest-based model is actually more rewarding for viewers, and the byproduct is that it forces creators to actually be better than ever before. It's no longer possible to rest on your laurels or just take subscribers for granted. Every single piece of content has to earn its place against everything else that the algorithm could show viewers in that second. Subscribers were never our viewers to begin with. It's a huge reminder that the viewer's time is an extremely valuable currency. The bar went way up. And that's just the evolution of social media. But that evolution took away the one indicator that for a really long time, it just felt so reliable. The one number that used to mean that we were building something that people were choosing to be a part of. That number still exists, but it's a trophy now from a league that is disbanded a long time ago. And despite that, creators who actually know the hard truth, we still care about that old trophy, even now. The silent dashboard gives us nothing. The singular viral video rewards something that doesn't really matter long term. Our real audience, for a good long time, remains invisible, and the subscriber count is just pure decoration. The quality bar is higher than ever before, and AI continues to place professional-grade tools in the hands of millions of new creators. And the flood of new content is relentless. Every available compass for emerging creators is either silent, unreliable, or pointing us in directions that we don't necessarily want to go. So how do we navigate without any reliable stars to guide us? For me, it's very simple. Just do better every single time. Is this video better than the one before it? Being honest without being overly destructive and thinking truthfully about how to improve every single time. That might be taking a risk that I might not have been willing to take before, maybe saying something on camera that just a few weeks prior I might have been too afraid to say, by trying to close the gap between what I truly feel and what actually comes out on screen. But the most confusing thing of all is that my own honest judgment about whether the work is actually getting better, it still lives here in this very same human mind that craves a clear signal. The very same mind that would love nothing more than for someone to just show up and say, "Hey, well done, man, keep going." This brain of mine is not a neutral observer. It has every reason in the world to lie to me and tell me that I'm better than I am, or on some days that I'm actually way worse. And until these analytics actually do start to work in my favor, until there is a vast audience to draw inspiration from, the algorithm will keep my content cautiously at arm's length and keep it quietly tucked away in the non-viral, minimal views container. And my friend at the gig will tell me by accident what I've been desperate to hear all along. This is the actual creative landscape right now, not just for me, but for anyone sharing their message and putting it out into the world in 2026. We learn to rely on our own sense of whether the work is getting better, our own ability to tell the difference between growth and delusion. We embrace the daily, unglamorous, and completely invisible discipline of showing up and making the next thing with absolutely no proof that it actually matters. Making something without the benefit of any clear external signal, judged only by whether you can feel it getting closer to the thing you actually intended to make. Maybe it's all just the most elaborate form of self-deception that we've ever known, or it might actually be the most honest creative condition that there is. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell.